I work in finance, which means I'm surrounded by people who believe a martini is a personality trait. Me? I don't drink. Not because I'm religious or in recovery. I just don't like the taste of alcohol. Also, I'd rather be home with my wife and 2 kids than black out at some dive bar pretending to laugh at Dave from accounting's crypto jokes. Apparently, that makes me a weirdo. My boss, Charles, let's call him that, thought I was a real hoot. Not in a good way. He used to say stuff like, "Hey champ, bringing your juice box to the happy hour tonight?" Or, "Don't worry guys, Steve's got the Uber covered. Sober squad, right? My name's not Steve." That was part of the joke, and everyone laughed. Every single time. At first I smiled, played along. I'm not the confrontational type. But after a while it wasn't funny, especially when the laughing happened during client meetings, or in front of new hires. He turned me into the office mascot, the sober saint, the family man with no grit. He'd say things like, "Real men close deals over bourbon, not bedtime stories." Cool, Charles. Really empowering. The final straw? It came at the quarterly review. He called me into his office, fake smile ready, and said, "You're good, but not team material. You skip the happy hours. The real bonding happens there." I nodded. He continued, "No one wants to promote a ghost. You vanish at 5 like Cinderella. Except Cinderella didn't have a 3-year-old who thought she was a dinosaur, and a 7-year-old who needed help with math homework. She just had a curfew," I tried to explain. Told him I believed in boundaries. Work-life balance. He looked at me like I just farted on the Constitution. Said, "Balance doesn't make billionaires, buddy." Then he smiled. Dismissed me with a pat on the back, a literal pat, like I was a sad puppy at a shelter. I walked out calm. Outside I wasn't. I was boiling. That night I skipped bedtime stories. I stayed up, researching, planning, because if there's one thing I do better than drinking, it's waiting. And I was done playing the joke. It was time Charles learned what real bonding feels like, preferably at the bottom of a hole he dug for himself, and I had the perfect shovel. Charles liked secrets, not the interesting kind, the career-ending kind. He bragged once, after too many drinks at some overpriced steakhouse, that what happens off the books stays off the books. He thought I wasn't listening. I always listen, especially when I'm pretending not to. Turns out Charles had a little side hustle. He'd been siphoning marketing budget money into a shell company. Guess whose shell company? His brother-in-law's. Because that's not suspicious at all. He called it creative invoicing. I called it fraud. Classic Charles. He had a system. Bloated vendor receipts, phantom consultants, and a lot of fast approvals from his favorite interns. But Charles had one weakness. He trusted idiots. And idiots love their cloud storage. That's where I found everything. In a Google Drive folder titled Q2 Fun Numbers. Seriously, not even password protected. I downloaded everything. Invoices, emails, even a PDF titled For Taxes Don't Share. I shared it, but not yet. Because timing is everything. First, I started being nice. Real team player energy. I showed up to happy hour, ordered a soda with lime and laughed at all the jokes, even the ones about me, especially those. Charles loved it, said I was finally getting it, told me I had promotion energy. I smiled, said, "You're a great mentor," which almost made me vomit. Meanwhile, I printed hard copies of everything, kept them in a fireproof box at home, labeled it Thanksgiving decorations. My wife knew the plan. She baked cookies while I mapped the evidence. She's a saint. Also ruthless. She color-coded the receipts. Then came the holiday party. A big deal at our firm, catered, open bar. Charles's natural habitat. He gave a speech, started with, "This year, we built something special," and ended with a standing ovation. Everyone clapped, except me. I was texting a contact from corporate compliance. See, what Charles didn't know is that 6 months ago I applied for a role at HQ and got it, but turned it down because I wanted him to keep thinking I was stuck, invisible, disposable. He never even knew I'd been flown out to meet with the ethics team. Never noticed I CC'd myself on all his urgent approvals. By the time the dessert tray rolled out, he was toasted, literally and figuratively, slurring, telling interns about his off-grid cabin paid for with extra earnings. Someone recorded it. It wasn't me. But I got a copy. On Monday, I sent a file to HR, then another to legal, then another to the board. I didn't sign anything, just labeled them, from a concerned team player. I also left a gift on Charles's desk, an empty bottle of bourbon, with a sticky note. Real men know when to stop. He didn't get it at first, but he would, soon, because if he thought I was a ghost before, wait until he tries calling for help and no one picks up. Monday morning was delicious, not because of coffee, though I had plenty, because Charles walked in like a man who just realized he was naked in Times Square. The emails hit his inbox like a punch to the gut. HR wanted an immediate meeting. Legal requested every document he had signed in the last year. The board? They scheduled an emergency session before lunch. I watched from my desk. Quiet, polite, the very picture of innocence. Charles turned 50 shades of red and started sweating like he'd run a marathon, which was ironic, because all he'd done was run his mouth. The interns avoided him like he had the plague. The client suddenly had urgent calls. His phone stopped ringing. His empire of creative invoicing crumbled faster than his fake smile. At 11 a.m., Charles called me into his office. No jokes, no snark, just a pale, broken man. He asked, "How did you find out?" I shrugged. Let's just say, I listen better than I look. Then came the confession, the threats, the desperate promises to fix things. I let him talk, because I had the upper hand. By noon, the board voted to suspend him pending investigation. His email was disabled, his access card deactivated. I saw him gather his belongings, slowly, like a man walking off a sinking ship. Here's the best part. The company gave me a promotion, not just a title upgrade, actual responsibility, actual respect. And the best perk? The team bonding budget was officially reallocated. Guess where it's going now? Family-friendly events, yoga classes, and yes, non-alcoholic happy hours. Charles texted me that night, something about, "You're dead to me." I replied, "Better a ghost than a fraud." Now I spend my evenings with my kids, telling bedtime stories, not bro stories at the bar. I still don't drink. But now, I'm the one pouring the drinks.